During these past several months, as we're heading into the new year, we've seen a little bit of a consolidation in the Tron Dapp space. And I want to give you guys my top 5 projects that are really consolidated into 2 trusted ecosystems. And also I want to go through a new project that's coming around very, very soon that I'm going to be investing in heavily. So stick around, I'll give you guys my take on the top projects in Tron. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here, my name is Clover. We're focused here on decentralized applications, trading, and other passive income opportunities. So make sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss out. So this is a basic breakdown of all of the Tron projects that I'm in right now, and this has changed quite a bit. I've kind of gone through this in the past, and I was diversified into a lot of projects, and a lot of those smaller projects didn't end up going so well. A lot of them just found different ways to essentially scam out or to have some sort of, situation where they pull their liquidity and then their token price tanked to nothingness. So a lot of those projects didn't do well. I wasn't as invested in some of those, and that type of situation that we've seen, there's just been a lot of dishonesty in the Tron ecosystem with all of these dapps that have come on. And if you look at the top Tron dapps right now, there's a lot on there like I really don't trust. They're anonymous, they're brand new, they're fabricating some of their numbers, and I just don't really trust it. And it's not really worth it, in my opinion, to get into some of these projects when you have 2 solid foundations with transparency that are just performing so well. I mean, there are guys that are doing videos talking about how they are making thousands and thousands of dollars in these particular projects. And I feel that there is some opportunity, and I want to give you guys my perspective. So right now, my biggest holding in terms of the amount of Tron that I've invested has been in Tron Chain, and that's been through our group. There's a little bit of a strategy that we've employed, and I'm making about 3.5% on that Tron that I have invested in that ecosystem. So that's been doing really well. It's continuing to go up. There was a little bit of a dip, as you can see here. So that we were kind of wondering, is that the beginning of the end? They implemented a new change where they installed UME farming inside of the Tron chain, Dapp, if you had an active investment. And so once they did that, we saw it, get a little bit of life. And so the thing about Tron Chain is you would think that it's probably going to have a little bit of a lifespan. We don't really know how long it's going to go. It is a question mark. It is a risk. I feel that if you get in right now with the group that we've created and the system that we've implemented, you have a very good opportunity to ROI. And one of the other things that they have talked about, Andreas, the founder of that project, is that if you invest in this project, they're going to have an insurance fund. So if you don't 100% ROI, then you will be paid the difference. So that's a really cool aspect. It makes it almost zero risk in that sense. So they did this with Ether Chain. I thought that was a really interesting, gesture. I mean, one of the, the questions that I have is, where is this money coming from? Because typically with these ROI style dApps, they tend to be zero sum. And with this ecosystem, they are kind of having one feeding the other. And so they've started with farming, which has been going really, really well. So if you're looking for a little bit of a safer bet with these 2 projects, I would probably steer you towards the farming. And in fact, that's been a recommendation that I've given to a few people that were like, hey, I see you guys are doing really well with these projects. I want to get in, and my recommendation is to get into the farming first, because that's safer. You can pull your liquidity at any time. You can pull those funds, and it's very profitable. I mean, with the APY interests on these have been in the thousands. So you're looking at like around 3% daily. The issue with the farming is that you need to go in. You need to go in multiple times typically, or you need to really stay on the ball on when those new farms launch. And so typically what I'm doing every day is I'm collecting all of the Tron out of all of the accounts that I've created in Tron Chain, as well as some of the other projects. And then if there's a new farm that's launched on UME, I get into that immediately. And if there isn't a new farm, Then I'm looking to compound into some of the other projects that I'm in, which I'm going to cover here in a little bit. But that's been a little bit of my strategy because you only have really a short window, and because of the higher transaction fees and the energy fees with these types of things, you're saving a little bit and you're getting the most bang for your buck for being in that farm for the longest period of time. Now, the token price is something you want to keep an eye on because some of these, they are paired with the UME token, so there's a little bit of risk, with that, but it's been holding up really, really well, even though there's a lot of opportunity for people to collect the UME token through farming with Tron Chain or in farming with these altcoin pairs by providing liquidity. So those two projects in the Eclipse City, which is kind of the parent project, have been going really, really well. My recommendation is if you're going to get into Tron Chain, I would recommend our Black Sheep's 10K group. It's a minimum of 10K to get in, and you have a good chance of having somebody come in after you, and then you're collecting from all of these other people that are withdrawing from the chain, and that's how you go from 1% to anywhere between 3 and 5% daily. So that's a really good opportunity, and that's what I've been doing. And I mean, that's a really hard interest rate to beat. I mean, it's just incredible. And I've been able to compound a lot of these earnings into some of the other projects. And my other top 3 projects, like if you say that Tron Chain's my number 1, UME might be number 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all with bankroll, and that is Stronghold, that is Stockpile, and that is the newly released Dapp Flow, which is a little bit of an answer to the unsustainability of Tron Chain, because they've done it with their Banker X token, which has an elastic supply, and you are guaranteed to get your full 365% in this case with bankroll flow. So that's a really good opportunity there. You want to keep an eye on the token price, and there's some different strategies with that as far as compounding. I see a lot of people are withdrawing one day and and dumping the tokens. The other day they're compounding their earnings, and so that's I've been doing kind of a little bit of a mix of that depending on what I'm seeing. So today it looks like there was a massive sell-off on Stronghold, and because of that, the price of Banker have really come down. Now, I feel for the long term that the Stronghold project might be the best of all of these. It's the liquidity pool for the Banker token, and the divs have been really, really good. I have a strategy where I want to have a certain percentage of the overall project. So with Banker, there's 21 million tokens, and if I'm trying to get to, say, 1% of the total supply, then I want to kind of calculate how I'm going to do that. Now, you can collect the Banker tokens and pair that in farming. The farming isn't really as profitable now. It was very profitable in the past. I think they're going to release this 10x on the Bitcoin pair, so that could be a really good opportunity once that launches. And so I'm kind of saving for that because I have a bunch of Banker tokens that I don't want to sell at these prices. So I'm kind of holding on to them. They do have the stack. It's kind of a revamped stack project. I'm not really sure about that one. I know some people have been having some success with that. I'm not quite sold on it. I'm not saying that I might not get into it in the future. I just a little bit uncertain. I kind of like having those tokens liquid for now, but they're just kind of sitting on the sidelines. And that's like 5% of the Tron projects. Those really probably only money that I have in Tron that's not actively working for me right now. But Stronghold is the one that I'm really trying to build up. I'm over 1% of the Stronghold supply, and I've been calculating the percentage of the Banker that's in that contract, and then my percentage of that to get my total Banker that I have. Now that's paired 50-50 with liquidity, so you also have Tron that's associated with that. But I've been able to build up my overall Banker supply is now, I think I'm around 0.4% of the entire Banker supply. So I'm kind of trying to build that a little bit over time as I'm building in this. And the dividends have been really good. Like I've been making around $100 a day on average in divs. In Stronghold, I've been making like $100 a day in Stockpile, and I've been making over $100 a day in Flow. So like that's been going really well, in those projects, and I've just been building and compounding those. Bankroll's been around a long time. It has a lot of trust and transparency behind that project, with Bank Teller constantly innovating and developing and working on some new things. One of the things that he just recently mentioned was creating a rebase style token. That's kind of been a hot thing in the crypto space. Just recently, Base Protocol was like a big trending project. And Ample Fourth was really the first rebase style token. And so it looks like Bank Teller may be looking to incorporate something like that into the Bankroll ecosystem, which is going to overall help the things that are going on with Bankroll. So I see Bankroll as a really good long-term investment, and so I'm trying to build up my percentage of the Banker and the Banker X token. Now with the Banker X token, I pulled a lot of those Banker X tokens and I put it into Flow. And then the other thing that you could calculate into the overall token supply is your stockpile position. You can't pull that, but it gives you an idea. If you can calculate the amount of Banker X token that's in that contract, your percentage of that. And so I've done that on a spreadsheet and been able to figure that out. And now with the token supply around 15 million, and that's going to be going up, you can try to get a certain percentage of the overall token supply. And as this entire project grows in value and builds on some of the the history with this project, that's going to just further increase everyone's trust with this project, and you will see the market cap grow, and you will grow with the project as that moves forward. So I really like everything that's going on with Bankroll. You have to be a little bit keeping an eye on some of the prices and things of that nature, but right now, like with these 5 projects, I've been doing very, very well with these, and this has been very profitable for a lot of people that are in these 5 projects. So I would encourage you to really take a look at these 5 projects and familiarize yourself with them and see if it's something that you want to invest in, because I feel that there's a lot of opportunity right now. I have a very small position in just a few other projects. T2X, they have their V2X. I've been experimenting with that. I got into DSP. That hasn't been going as well, but they are coming out with like a ladders project. So I'm hopeful that may return. But right now I've not doing as well in that. I have a little bit in GooseBet, and Shuriken is a higher risk project that I'm still trying to reach ROI in. That project's kind of a yield farming project that needs a little bit more people in that, and I feel that could grow over time. So they are developing some things, but those are some smaller things. But I feel like the 5 projects I'm in, that's where I have the bulk of my portfolio. The bulk of my money is invested in those. I'm experimenting with some of these smaller ones. Sometimes the smaller ones have not gone as well, and really the ones that I'm in right now are the only ones that I have a whole lot of trust in. A lot of the other ones that I've been in have all exited in one way or another. The latest one was Opals. I had a few thousand Tron in that, and they pulled all the liquidity from it. You can't sell it. It just completely backed out. So it really sucks when these projects do that, and you typically see that with some of these newer style projects. That's why when I'm looking at Dapp Radar, I don't see anything on there that I would trust putting more than like 1,000 Tron in. And so that's kind of where I'm at. There are a couple of smaller projects which I'm going to cover on my secondary channel that I'm just kind of experimenting with. And if you're interested in that, I've linked my secondary channel below. I'll be doing some updates on some smaller projects on that channel. But and the other one that I'm really starting to gear up for, and this one I'm going to do a couple of update videos here very shortly, is the divs.io project. So this is through Money Mike, who is very trusted in our community, and he's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. It's a very innovative project. I think that it's something that's very easy for people to understand. They've been building up some relationships. I really like where this project is going. And so they have a token offering that's coming very soon, and I'm starting to save up. A lot of people in our community are saving up for that because we want to be very early investors in that, and that's typically where a lot of the opportunity is. So be on the lookout for an update video on that. I'll be shooting a video here very shortly to cover that project a little bit more in depth. So, but curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know if there's any other projects that you guys have been checking out that you think are worth taking a look at on the Tron blockchain. Other than that, appreciate you guys coming on and staying online, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.